Good Monday morning and welcome to another episode of Coding in L. And today we are going to look at first creating interfaces and then implementing the interfaces that you have created and try and extend the base application using interfaces. We'll try and see why they're important and simplify the use of interfaces using L. So stay tuned.
Hii ni Tech na Msangi ya jishinde.com.
As I was exploring interfaces, I went to the dictionary definition. It's a device or program enabling a user to communicate with a computer. So, at first, we can call interfaces like an enabler, and then it's a syntactical contract that can be implemented by an abstract method. So, when we have interfaces, we are going into a contract. Yeah, have the view of the contract that we have. So, a contract basically has rules, and then it's used to define which capabilities must be available for an object while allowing actual implementations to differ as long as they comply with the defined interface. So you enter into a contract with the interface. The actual implementation that you want can differ, but as long as you comply with what the contract wants you to do. Yes, the contract, you comply with whatever the contract wants you to do, so you'll be okay with using the interface. Come on. So let's move forward. It enables the creation of code that reduces the dependency on implementation details, as we have just said. It makes it easier to reuse code and supports a polymorphic way of calling object methods, which again can be used for substituting business logic. And finally, you can declare variables as a given interface. So interface can be declared as variables to allow passing objects that implement the interface and then call the interface implementation on the passed objects in a polymorphic manner. So polymorphism enables us to have objects in different forms. An object in different forms. So as we start implementing, just have in mind that the interface is a contract and it enables us build applications that are loosely coupled, meaning that we can easily add or change the applications without affecting the core application or the key implementation details of the application. Okay, so we will, how you create an interface. The snippet is T interface. You type TINT and then you press on tab and then you'll have the interface created. It is calling it my interface, and then the best convention is to use maybe the I, starting with the I to define an interface with the with the naming convention. I can call it music instrument. I music instrument interface. Then I'll have procedures. Now I am now defining the contract terms. So for me today, I want to see how can we be able to learn different instruments, from a piano, a flute, a violin, and I'm creating an interface that will enable us do that for different instruments. So the interface or the contract, we are saying our contract is known as I music instrument, and it should have different procedures. So for you to learn maybe music, you can start with making a sound, and then this will have a text as the output variable. Okay, it will have a text output. So make sure when you, our contract will have with Okay, our contract will have making sound as part of the music instrument, and it will also have what else? I think, let me just refer, some more practice, and then the playing. Practice tips. It's also a text, and then playing the music instrument. It also gave us a text. So any tutor who wants to create the music instrument will have to tell us how to make a sound, how to practice, and how to play the music instrument. So let me go to the code unit that will now implement the interface. Now I want to implement the contract as with my code unit 5105, I guess. So I will create maybe piano. Then I'll remove all these details, and then I will state that it implements the iMusic instrument, and it is showing me the red squiggly lines telling me that there's something wrong with my interface. I don't know if there's a quick fix. No, something is wrong there, but the quick fix is supposed to create an interface automatically. So when I implement this interface, I should have these procedures. The procedure make sound. Okay, let me just copy them. Okay, in interfaces, you just state what should be there. There is no implementation details in an interface. You cannot have an implementation detail. That's why we are defining the procedure without any implementation details. The implementation comes to the implementer or the code unit that will implement this. So I'll just copy that, and I'll say this is my procedure, and this is the second, and this is the third. So okay, so I have the procedure to make sound, to practice the tips. Okay, practice tips, to give me practice tips, and then to play the instructions to do that. So it is not valid. Tip procedure. Oh, sorry. I've been doing a lot of C# today. My mind is still on C#. With the curly braces, so it's begin and end. Okay, so that's how we do it, and the code unit will detect that we are okay. We can now be able to use the interface. We'll make our sound, practice, and play. If I change this to maybe Boolean, the contract will say there is a problem, because you have signed that you should make sound and give the procedure of making sound and return a text. So why do you want to return a Boolean? So we'll take it back to text. Okay, after creating this code unit, it's implementing the interface. Now we can have the details here, maybe text. The text will say please make the sound. Press key C using the, I don't know, index finger, whichever finger. Press key C, that's enough for the piano. And then practice tips, do it for 25 minutes a day. 25 minutes a day. Play. Just enjoy. Choose a genre that you like. Choose a genre that you like and then play. And then play and play. Okay, that is for the piano. Now we have the code unit and we have the interface. How do we implement the interface? Because we need now to use to be able now to call this code unit using the interface implementation. So we use the enums to define the implementations of interfaces, because you can have many code units implementing the same interface, and we need to know now which interface we are, or which specific code unit we are implementing. I think it will make more sense if I add a second code unit with different implementations so that we can see the difference. It means we can be able to use the same interface. Now for the guitar, we will first play the chord. And then this one will be guitar is 35 minutes. For the playing, then we shall say just play. So we have two code units that are implementing the same interface. Now we need to specify the implementation details of the interface. So we create an enum. An enum is a list. It's an enumeration list. So music enum, instruments enum. It will implement now the interface iMusic instrument. So the enum still implements that so that you can know the different values that are existing. So we are using the enumeration to list the implementations of the interface. Okay, don't worry, if you are, don't get lost from this point. We have the interface here that has been implemented. Now we want to list the implementations of the interface so that you can easily identify which implementation we want. This is the contract. We want the contract for the guitar. We want the contract for the piano. That's why we are using this enumeration list. Okay, 0 is supposed to be the default, but we can set the piano as the default value. For us, we'll call it piano. If you want to learn the piano. So implementation, this is a new keyword for the enum. So we will say is equals to iMusic instrument, and it's the piano. So this one is calling the implementation of the piano, this particular enum, and the second one will now specify the guitar. So we have enumerated our interface that we have just created, and now the final step is to use the interface. So we will create a table that will now list these enumerations, and we will trigger or call these implementation details of the interface, and we'll now see how beautiful it is. Okay, so we create a table. I guess this should be available. Implement interface. Sorry for the naming convention. Implement interface, and then the field, we only need one field here. we'll call it okay, interface type. Or rather, let's say it's an enum of music instruments enum. So we are now specifying this as an enum on this table for this field. So when you have now the enum, remember the enum is like a selection list. Okay, this should be now the primary key. We don't need all this, you can remove them. Okay, here is our table, and with the different listings. So it will list the enum which contains the implementation of the interface. So what we want to do is the user of the application will be selecting the instrument that they want, and then they'll be getting different instructions for that. So the first field will be that, and then the second field we can complicate it by adding maybe which instruction that they want. But let's start with simplifying it by getting just one instruction, maybe to the first instruction, which is the sound, how to make sound. Oh no, let's just use that. I need to create another enum to specify the sound or that. Okay, let's simplify it and have all implementation details pop up at once. Okay, we'll have the trigger for on validate of this particular value. When they select on validate for this value, we'll have a variable to specify an interface music supposed to be an interface music iMusic interface is an interface of type iMusic interface, iMusic instrument iMusic instrument. We have specified our variable iMusic instrument, and when the user selects the instrument type, or okay, this should be called instrument type, not interface type, instrument type. And then the instrument type makes more sense instead of the interface type. Instrument type. Okay, so once they now populate this table by selecting the instrument type that they want on validate, we will now say that this will now initialize the interface. It's like saying now the interface will contain the instrument type that they have selected. It's like initializing or saying now, yes, we have this generic interface. Now what will the interface be calling? Which method will it call, or which code unit will it specify? The enum here has given us, it has said that if you select piano, it will give us the implementation of the piano here. If you select the guitar, it will give you the implementation of the guitar. So when they select now the instrument type on this side, we are saying now give this interface the instrument type that the user will select. After that, now we can be able to message out whatever they selected. Now we can make sound there. we can also play, and we can finally do what? Practice. Come on, practice. Now we'll give this user all the instructions, and now let's display this table with a page. T-page, with a page that will be able to give them the interface implementation list. Okay, music interface list. We cannot call it music interface list. We'll say music tutorial list. It's a list page, and this is the source table, and here the name will be the instrument type. So we'll call it the instrument type. Nothing more, nothing less. We have no action on this list page. And I think that is it. We can now be able to test our interface to see how our implementation details are. A small recap here is we have created our interface here, and then implemented the interface into code units, piano and guitar, and then listed the implementation details of the interface using an enum, enumerated or specified like how many just enumerating the implementation details of an enum, and it can give you a remember, now we can even go to having this as a list in a way because you have it as an enum, and then finally now implementing it by now specifying the interface, what the interface will implement, and then now previewing it in a page. So now we will be able to run this and see whatever it will give us as the output. Okay, so let's search our music tutorial list. Here we get it, and now we create a new. The default is piano, which is not very good. When you select guitar, it tells us first play the chord. I don't have a chord for the guitar. And secondly, just play, even if you don't feel like it, like playing. And then do it for 35 minutes a day for you to become an expert, a guitar expert. And let me select a piano, press key C, and then choose a genre that you like, and then play a play. And finally, do it for 25 minutes a day. So you can see here we are having an implementation detail. Like if you want to add another instrument to this, you can easily be able to add a new implementation for your interface, because it will easily you'll just add maybe a new instrument, a flute, and then a flute, you implement those methods for the flute. After implementing the methods, you'll now specify the instructions or the implementation details for that particular flute, as long as you comply to the rules and regulations of the contract. An interface is not tough. I wanted to show a extension of maybe extending the base application, but the video has been so long, and I choose to stop this here, and I hope you understand. If you have any question, you can post it in the comments and I'll be able to reply. and we can see maybe how good they are interfaces, and try to use them as much as possible, and to enable our applications to be as loosely coupled as possible. And again, if you're also creating your own base application, try to use as much to create many interfaces as possible. If someone extends your application, they can use the interface, and they'll even follow the conventions that you want, even the method names and all that, and it will be easy to get to one implementation. You can imagine here we have just specified the variable as an interface, and then we have accessed uh, the implementation of different code units. You can even have 10 code units under this interface, and it's a very amazing feature. And for that, I will see you in the next video. May God bless you.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss the next one.